gorgeous, this is Shilpa Ahuja, editor-in-chief of shilpaahuja.com and your style BFF. Today I'm going to be doing this Voyd inspired hair and makeup look. From Incredibles 2. She is the next generation, and even though she has a really unique personality, she has a really nice and badass style. I'm a big Incredibles fan, but until the movie releases in India, I can just watch the trailers and do looks like this. Voyd's look has a cool color palette. She wears a blue and green top, and she has blue hair and a matching eye mask. And even though I relate to Elastigirl's personality, I really don't relate to her mommy style. In fact, I wonder how Edna Mode even approved of her style. If I were Edna, I would never approve of her style.
Explain yourself!
But I think Edna would approve of Voyd's hair. It's really cool, and I think for a teenager, it's kind of like an edgy, a badass look. And it can also be a cool summer look if you're looking for a haircut. And even if you have long hair like me, you can still imitate the style a little bit. This would be a great idea for a Halloween costume or for Comic-Con, and you could even wear it without the eye mask if you're just going to college or going out casually. The eye mask itself reminds me of Chanel's Spring-Summer 2016 ready-to-wear collection that had models walking the runway wearing eye mask makeup. So let's get started! I've already straightened my hair and prepped my skin using this Maybelline One Day Perfect Primer and this L'Oreal Infallible Foundation, and I also use this MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. So let's get started with my hair. Since I have long hair, I'll have to create a faux bob. Voyd's hair looks like a regular bob from behind, and from the front, it's medium length side parted hair. So I'm going to give a deep part to my hair. I'm going to pin this side tightly near the ear. I'm going to leave my shorter layers in the front, so let's separate them. And the rest of the hair, I'm going to tie them over here with a matching skinny hair tie. Now these lengths of hair, let's roll them inwards and pin them underneath my hair. Lightly comb them or spread them with your fingers so that you completely cover up the pins. So there you go, all the hair is done. For the makeup, I'll start with the eyeshadow primer, but before I do that, since this look is all about the eyes, I want to run a few tests on the back of my hand over here to test different bases to make sure that I find the right one which makes my eyeshadow look the most pigmented. Alright, so here are the few tests I ran. I used the MAC Paint Pot, I used a Dior eyeshadow primer, and I used this Sports Girl white eye pencil, which I think looks the most pigmented, so I think I'm going to be using this a lot, but probably this is still good, so I'm going to use this just over the lids. Alright, so first let's use this Dior Backstage Eye Prime. I'm just going to go in with my fingers. This look contains really less of eye contouring, and it's almost all about the eye mask. So really you need to layer your eye primer all over the lid. Alright, so now I'm going to use this Turquoise eyeshadow by Body Shop, and I'm going to wear it with this Vega eyeshadow brush. I'll use this black eye pencil by Maybelline on my upper lash line, and then I'm going to use the eyeshadow. Alright, and now I'm going to use this grey eyeshadow by MAC. It's called Night Divine. I'm going to use it on the outer corners and crease of my eyelids to add some depth. Alright, so now Voyd uses this really thick liner almost all over her lids, so that's going to be my next step. I'm going to be using this Maybelline Hyper Glossy Eyeliner. And since we're doing an animated character look, it doesn't hurt to make it a little thick and dramatic. I'm going to be wearing this Clinique High Impact Mascara on my lashes, but not too much, since Voyd's look is not about the eyelashes, it's more about the eye mask and the eyeliner. So I'm just going to take off all the excess over here. I'm also going to comb my brows a little bit. Now Voyd's eye mask almost comes till her cheekbones, but you can still see the blush, and you can still see that there's a hint of contouring over there. So before wearing all that, I'm going to use this MAC Mineralize face powder, since it will help me set the concealer. And now I'm going to be using this MAC powder blush in Frost. And I'm even going to wear a teeny bit of it on the tip of my nose. For sculpting, I'm going to use this Dior Skin New Tan Matte Bronzer. Here it is. And I'm going to just be wearing it with the kabuki brush that comes with it. And since Voyd has a really narrow jaw, her shape is almost like an elongated almond. So I'm just going to keep wearing this bronzer on the sides of my jaw as well. I'm just going to keep blending it until no harsh lines are seen. For the lips, I'm going to be using this Dior lip liner pencil in Candy Rose. And I'm going to be lining my lips a little bit on the inside because she has really thin lips. I mean, I don't know how you can make them thinner than what I have already, but that's what she has. Lipstick, I'm going to be using this Christian Dior 766 Hibiscus. It's a really nice pink, very bright pink color. I'm also going to be using this Maybelline lip liner in 338 Midnight Plum. Alright, that's as close as I can get to Voyd's lip color. Alright, so there it is. This is a bit of the dramatic look that you can wear if you don't want to draw the eye mask on. But I'm gonna, of course, go ahead and move on to drawing the eye mask. Alright, so of course the eye mask is slightly bit tricky. It's really oval and rounded, but its outer corners are very slightly bit tipped. I'm going to draw it on with this Sports Girl white eyeliner pencil first, and then I'm going to put eyeshadow all over the drawn area. Alright, so first you want to demarcate how much above and below your eyes the eye mask is going to go, so that you can easily make it symmetrical on both sides. Of course, being symmetrical doesn't matter so much since half of her eyes are already like covered by the hair as well, so it's really okay if you go wrong a little bit here and there. Alright, so now that we have the basic shape drawn on, let's use the same pencil to fill it in, and it'll create a nice base for the eyeshadow that we're going to put on later. Alright, so this is all drawn on, and of course it looks really funny. I look like a clown. I could just go out like this and shock people. But anyway, let's use the same eyeshadow brush and the same eyeshadow that I used earlier to fill this in. The things to remember are that when you're filling in the edges, that's where you need to be having the most steady hand, and as well as when you're coming down, you're filling the downwards areas. That's when you need to really make sure that you're tapping off the excess of the brush so that nothing falls off below this mask. Since we made the demarcation with the white eyeliner pencil first, it's really easy to stay inside the lines. Since the product just doesn't stay on my base, it stays on really better on the top of the eyeliner pencil. So even if you mess up just a slightly bit, it's really okay. The product's just not going to stay on outside the lines. Alright, so this mask has become a little bit too peacocky, a little bit too bright. I think it's too Indian Bollywood, if I may say so, and be a racist myself. So I think I'm just going to mix a little bit of either black eyeshadow or black liner to it to make it slightly bit darker, since the one that we saw in the sketch is a little bit brighter than the one we are seeing in the movie. So let's hit a little bit of balance between these two. Alright, so to darken the eyeshadow, I'm going to use this black eyeshadow by L'Oreal. It's 920 Lush Raven. And I'm just going to go over the top part only so that we can have a slight bit of a gradient as we come down, and it's going to look good in real life since it's going to be as if the light is hitting the bottom part of the shade. I'm going to use a really light hand to go over this since we don't want to mess up the color as well. And I have a varied skin texture naturally just above the eyebrows, so it's going to take the color really differently on different spots. But that's really okay since, you know, that's just how it is naturally. I'm going to go over my eyebrows as well with this color. Let's also use this black eyeshadow a little bit on the crease and outer corners so that I can add a little bit more depth to my eyelids. I'm also going to contour a little bit on the sides of my nose with this Vega foundation brush, and I'm going to use this Dior bronzer again. Since Voyd has a very tiny triangular nose, I'm just going to go underneath the eye mask only. Alright, so this is the final look. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe. Mwah! And now we all can try it. Everyone can be a super. And when everyone's super, no one will be.